Welcome back to Build Tips with Brady Joiner Bricks. I'm Justin and I'm super excited to see you back again. Last time I taught you about how to build a Lowell Sphere. So if you missed that video, I recommend pausing this one and watching the other one, and then coming back to this one to go ahead and learn the next step. Today, we are going to be teaching you how to build a half Lowell Sphere. So the idea there is it could be something like this cookie, potentially. We'll be using similar parts like we did last time, but really only half of the size. And that way you could build things that maybe are like that cookie. It could be like a sun that's coming out, sticking out from the side of a back wall, potentially, and any other elements where you might have a half of a rounded sphere. So let's get into it. I am building this in a way that you'll be able to see kind of the way, if it were a full sphere, the colors would match up the way it did on this one. So in this case, we've got like the 6 different orange 2x2 pieces that we have all the way around. We're going to be using lime green for that instead. But the difference here is we are using 1 2x2 square plate and 4 1x2 plates as well in that lime color. We're doing that though so that visually, if you were to cut this in half, it would look similar as well. So in thinking about the parts that we need to take this Lowell Sphere and cut it in half, and we're going to do that by using slightly different colors, but the same concept as we had before. So we need 1 2x2 plate. We need 4 1x2 plates in that same color if possible. Then we need 4 1x4 plates and 4 1x2 plates, also in the same color if possible. Next up, we have 12 of these corner plates that have the 3 studs on top. Then we have 12 1x2 jumper plates and 4 Travis bricks. So in this case, we're not actually using that plate to reinforce like I mentioned before. It's an optional piece. If you watched the last video, we used it as the option to help reinforce it. But I'm going to show you today how to use the Travis bricks without using the reinforcement brick. All right, so let's get into it. So we are going to make the top just like we did last time. So take 4 of those corner plates. We're also going to take 2 of these 1x4 plates, and we're going to take 4 of the jumper plates and the 2x2. So again, we're going to take those corner plates and we're going to put them in a plus shape like we did before, and we're going to cover them up with this 2x2 so that it attaches all 4 corners and creates a plus shape, just like so. Take the 1x4s. We're going to place them across 2 of the areas of those corner plates that are sticking out so that you see a square. And if I flip it over, you'll see the underside of it as well. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to fill in these gaps here using those jumper plates. So again, we're going to attach that on the underside of those corner plates where the yellow is, and it's going to stick out by a half plate instead of a full plate. So looking again, now you can see that half plate of white sticking out underneath. If we flip it, if we flip it upside down, you can see the full kind of view of what that looks like. So that is our topper to this half sphere. The next 4 walls, we're actually doing 2 that are one way and 2 that are the other way. So for the first 2, you're going to need for each one 2 of the yellow corners, 1 of the 1x4, 1 of the 1x2, and 2 of the jumper plates. So you can see here's for one wall and here's for the next wall. Colors don't matter. I'm just using different colors to help you see all the different pieces and how they all come together. We are going to take these 2 yellow ones and we're going to make half of a plus sign. It's like we did the full plus sign over here. We're going to make half a plus sign over here. We're going to cover that with this 1x2 lime green. And then we're going to take the blue, we're going to put it under these 2 pieces that are jutting out from that corner piece. So you can see it like this. I'll flip it over upside down like that. And then of course, we're going to take the jumper plates and do the same thing that we did before, aligning them on those 2 yellow pieces of the corners that are popping out. And again, it's going to create that half plate jump out from the side. You can see that in white, and here's the opposite side. So we'll do that a second time. Again, following the same instructions that we just verbalized. Once we have that one together, we're going to set these 2 walls aside. Now the next 2 walls, you're going to be using these remaining parts that we had. So in this case, the main difference is instead of using the 1x4 blue, we're actually using 2 1x2 blues. So let's get into it. We flip those corners so that they're side by side, making a half plus shape again. So that's going to be the same as it was before. But then this time, when we flip it over, our jumper plates we'll put on first, and they're going to go on the middle two. And then beside them, we are going to put the blue ones. So when you look at it upside down, it looks like this. And when you look at it right side up, it looks like this. We're going to repeat that process, do it a second time, just like so. Again, the blue is on the outside and the jumper plates are on the inside this time, so it's a little bit different than before for the other walls. And that's going to give us, if you remember, we had vertical and horizontal, the way that we were orienting the sides of this sphere. This is going to give us that same effect over here as well. So now we've got all four of the walls and the top part all together. We're going to flip the top part upside down. We're going to take those Travis bricks and we're going to put one on each corner of the blue 1x4. And you want it so that the bottom of the Travis brick is facing on the inside. So the bottom is that part that's the anti-stud. We want to make sure that two studs are out on the left and on the right, or on the top and on the side, so that we can attach those walls. So now that we have these here, before I mentioned that we were reinforcing the other one on the other video, so you could take a 1x4 and you could attach it to the back side of these, and that would help reinforce it and keep it sturdy. But I wanted to show you how, even without that, whoops. I wanted to show you how even without that, you can still make this work. Just the Travis bricks have a tendency to twist a little bit, so you just have to be a little bit careful with the way you're putting it on. All right, so now let's attach the walls. So we're gonna flip this upside down so that we can go ahead and see the upside down side. We're gonna take this wall that has the two jumper plates on the bottom that are sticking out on the sides. So we're gonna take one of those and we're gonna put it underneath this wall that has the two jumper plates sticking out right there. Okay, so attaching those blue plates to the Travis bricks, that's going to attach it underneath. And then we are going to flip it over and do the same with the other one. So this other one that has those two jumper plates sticking out from the bottom, we're going to put on this other side. Okay, and again, you want to make sure that you're putting it on the right side, so that once you have them attached, you see the jumper plates sticking out up here, and then you see jumper plates down here at the bottom left. Then we'll rotate it around, and we're going to take the other two, so the ones with the jumper plates facing up, and put it up here. And as you can see, that's creating more of a rounded edge all the way around, which is kind of fun. And we'll flip it around, and we'll attach the last one. So now we have another rounded edge all the way around. And this is our final half sphere. We did it, y'all. It looks like a tiny hat. This is really silly. Now the fun thing is, so this one, it's a little less sturdy because we didn't do those reinforcements on the inside. But one thing that's really easy that you could do for reinforcements, you could take a 4x4 plate and you can put it on the inside here and smash that down, and that's going to reinforce it as well. Or you could take two 2x4s and put them down as well. So there's different ways to help reinforcing this if you need to. That also will give you potentially some ways that you can attach this to a back wall of something if you needed to as well. So really fun, really easy to do. This creates that half sphere. As you can tell, it is a little bit taller than my cookies. And so I wanted to share a little bit of the difference between that. When we look at the half sphere and when we look at the cookie, the half sphere has one row of plates that's a little bit thicker or deeper than the cookie itself. The reason for that is I wanted to make it an exact half sphere, so that when you were to cut one of these spheres in half, you would see the exact same shape. With this cookie, I had to modify it a little bit, and I had to not use the jumper plates at all, and that's because I wanted it to be flatter, like a cookie would actually be, so not as round. But in order to do that, I needed to go ahead and remove the jumper plates because they would stick out underneath as well, and that's not the look or the vibe that I was going for. So this half Lowell sphere could work as a sun, potentially, on the side wall of a mosaic or building that you're doing, so that it's a three-dimensional sun sticking out from that. It could also be something that you use this same concept, but maybe make 3/4 of a circle like I did here, with the scary orange. So I incorporated some of these ideas, but adjusted them so that I could make basically this tiny cutout here to make that scary mouth. So easy tips that you can do though with taking these different pieces, putting them together in different ways, and you can create something really remarkable. Now, I'd love to hear from you in the chats. What did you build? Did you run into any problems as well? Let me know, and I can figure out how to go ahead and guide you if you need any additional guidance. So that, my friends, is how you create a half Lowell Sphere. Thanks again for joining. I'd love it if you could like and subscribe. It's really helpful as I grow out this channel a little bit further. Also, I'd love to hear from you in the chat. What other tips, tutorials, and tricks you would like to see covered next? And as always, whatever you build kindness. Thanks, y'all.